How much do you spend commuting to work each year? And if you're driving, how much do you spend to fill a tank of gas? And how many times do you fill it up in a month? That adds up pretty fast. These days, more than ever, we know that every dollar counts. So how can we cut the costs? Because we know gas isn't cheap. One way to save is by walking. It's great exercise and good for the environment. But it's not always the quickest and most practical way to and from work. Today, we're going to look at some alternative ways to commute. And I'm here at Motorino Electric to get the scoop on electric bikes. So I'm here with Steve Miloshev, the owner of Motorino. Steve, you got us this display here. Explain to me how an actual electric bike works.
Well, an electric bike has a motor, battery, controller, control unit, and interface that connects them all together. So the controller is the unit between the battery and the motor.
So kind of like the brains of the...
Exactly. And then it's getting controlled by a throttle. And the throttle is the unit that you can control it proportionally to the speed.
What kind of customers are buying electric bikes right now?
Well, 10 years ago when we started, people were thinking that they're for people with impaired mobility, but this one changed. And now most of the customers are using them for commuting. In Vancouver, we have many customers that they're using for their main transportation, because these bikes, they're urban transportation. They're good for the city. You can go on the side of the traffic because they're legal like bicycles.
How fast could you go with something like this if I had this on all the way?
Well, you can go as fast as you want, but here in Canada, in North America, they're legal to 32 kilometers an hour. So basically, that is the limit of the speed. On a single charge, normally with a normal setup with a lead-acid battery, you go 40-50 kilometers. But they can also take lithium batteries, and with the lithium batteries, you double the range. You can go up to 100 kilometers distance.
Wow, that's amazing. What about charging? How long does it take to do a full charge?
Normally you charge them overnight. It takes 5 to 7 hours. With the lithium battery, the charge is much faster. It's 3 to 5 hours. But we also have fast chargers that you can charge them for 2 to 3 hours. The bikes were legalized in 2002, and they're legal as long as they go maximum 32 kilometers an hour and have 500 watt continuous power and switches that cuts the motor.
So this particular bike is what caught my eye, partly because it looks just like a normal bike. Steve, what makes this an electric bike?
Well, you have a good choice because this is one of the lightest electric bikes in the industry. It's completely made of carbon fiber.
Steve, I was wondering if you could explain what this display is.
This is actually the control unit of the bike. You can turn it on and off from here, and you can set different levels of assistance.
Well, that's a good point, because I've heard of power assist and power demand. Could you explain what the difference is?
Power assist actually it came from Europe because they only allow them power assist. They don't allow a throttle. Throttle, if the bike has a throttle, that means that the bike is power on demand. So here we have combined both functions. You can use the bike as a power assist bike, or you can use it as a power on demand. When you're pressing the throttle, it works like a power on demand bike.
Well, we came here to learn about electric bikes, but I don't think I'm going to leave until I get a test drive. Do you mind if I take this baby for a spin?
Sure, let's go.
All right, let's do this. This bike I'm riding is called the Motorino LTX, and man, am I impressed. It feels just like a normal bike with 24 gears, and other than a bit of extra weight from the battery, it feels no different. Hydraulic suspension and disc brakes, just as you'd expect. The throttle is a lot of fun, and I really like having the power assist on here as well. Boy, do I wish I had something like this when I had a paper route. With the buttons and switches though, I was worried it might be too complicated to control while I was on the road. Turns out I was worrying for no reason. I can't believe how easy this is. This makes bike riding a piece of cake. I'm not even breaking a sweat. I like the fact that you have 3 modes. I can use low when I want some assistant pedaling, but if I'm really feeling lazy, I can just put it on high and hit the throttle, and away I go. Either way, this makes bike riding a piece of cake.
Gotta get connected.